Hi, guys. Hi. Okay, so it's showing I am live. So it worked. Um, I just wanted to come on and do a little live for the Mental Monday this week. Um, I did want to give a little update on my foot because I never updated last week because I already had the Bible Moments video I was doing. Hi. So I'll update a little bit in this one, and then hi. And then I will go into a few mental health myths that I want to talk about. Don't mind my crazy hair. I need to get it cut so badly. I'm good. I miss my schedule of uploading I had. I feel like I've still been getting videos up, but like we've been so busy working on the house and everything that they haven't been what I had hoped. But I've been getting back into my groove with vlogging and everything. And I feel like I've gotten to vlog a lot of the house process, which I'm really excited about because I really wanted to get that vlogged. Like I wanted to document that. So how are you guys? Is everybody having a good Monday? A good start to the week? I was actually kind of resting today, but Max is like in full separation anxiety mode. So every time I've gotten up off the couch from next to him, I get a look, and then he is following me around the house. So that has been the mode of the day in also trying to get stuff done, trying to plan stuff, trying to do all of that. But good. Okay, what's your question? I am so glad you guys were able to hop on. I was a little worried this would be a weird time to go live, but it worked well. I'm glad. So, an update on my foot. I went to the doctor on what day did I go to the doctor now? Wednesday or Thursday of last week. I think maybe it was Thursday. And I got x-rays because after 5 days, almost a whole week, I still, maybe it was Wednesday. That's irrelevant. Hi. Okay, Lauren, I will answer your question in just a second. Because that is a very important topic with it. So I went and got x-rays because after almost a whole week, it was still like my foot and ankle were still both really sore, and it was hard to walk and stand on it for very long. And they were swollen still. Not as swollen, but still swollen. So I got x-rays, and they weren't broken. Nothing was broken. Thank you, God, nothing was broken. I sprained both my ankle and my foot when I rolled it. So still recuperating a little bit, but doing much better. I'm still having to like take frequent breaks and sit down and put it up for a little bit because it's still smarting a little bit when I'm up on it too much or walking around too much. I definitely still feel it. It's just not as bad. So that is the update on that. Nothing's broken. Thank you. Nothing is broken. I just sprained both very well. So I got a brace, and I kind of just have to ice it when I need to, elevate it when I can, rest as much as possible. And use the brace when I feel like I need the support. So, and it was interesting, of course, as my ankle is starting to get better, my knee on that side, it was my left ankle. My knee on that side starts hurting. And I'm like, really? It's not my bad knee. It's not the knee that I had surgery on. It's just having sympathy pains. And I had put so much pressure on it compensating for my ankle hurting that I think it was like, what are you doing? So then I put my knee brace on that knee. It's been an interesting week. Anyways. Okay, Lauren's question about, do I take estrogen? Yes. I right now am on, it's called hormone replacement therapy, and it's basically giving your body what you need because of the hormone deficiency with Turner's. I know you said you have Turner's, so I don't know if you're classic or mosaic, but either way, most cases will require some type of HRT because there's a hormone deficiency that comes with it. So I and most TS women don't naturally make the normal, healthy level of estrogen and progesterone on our own. I feel like we make some level, just not enough to sustain our body. Okay. Mosaic. Okay. So there's a lot of different, yes, estrogen and progesterone are very, very important beyond having a cycle. A lot of my initial thought was that was it, and it's really very minimal compared to the bone health and heart health aspects that you want that for. So yes, that's a very good point. And there's so many different versions of HRT. There's so many different things you can try to find what works really well with you. Right now, I'm on a birth control for HRT that has both in it. So I only have to take one pill instead of, like when I first got started, I took 2 different pills. One was estrogen, one was progesterone. And now it's just both in that one pill and gives me what I need. So yes, I do. Most TS women do. And progesterone is another big one that gets taken too. Do you have lymphedema? Is it lymphedema you're asking about, Sarah? I do get slight lymphedema a little bit especially my hands, but also in my feet. If I have not drank enough water and I have been standing up on my feet a lot, if it's hot, that I retain fluid like no other, and I am so puffy, and it's ridiculous. It was worse when I was younger, but I do still fight that somewhat. So yes, I have not had to have anything done for it, but yes, I do struggle and fight against that every once in a while. And it used to be worse. So, okay. Mental health myths. I wanted to talk about a few because I feel like, especially in the culture we have today, I've been hearing a lot about social media and its effect on mental health, like how it impacts you, how it can impact the way you think and the way you see things, and comparison and being dissatisfied in your life and thinking you need to meet these higher standards and all of that. And that kind of just made me think about the whole highlight reel aspect of it. You know, people are showing the good parts most of the time. People aren't generally, for at least the bulk of what they're going to be posting, even if they post something a little more raw every once in a while, the bulk of what they want to post is going to be positive, not just because they intentionally want to make things look good when they're not, but because of wanting to put positive things out into the world and contribute that way instead of bringing others down by sharing something sad or difficult or whatever. So that made me think about that whole concept of like everybody has a story. Everybody has something they're fighting with. Everybody has things they struggle with. Nobody's life is perfect. Nobody is perfect. Nobody is satisfied with everything in their life. There's going to be things that people struggle with, but you may not see them. So the myth becomes mental health issues aren't actually that common. And unless you have, well, okay, I'll start with that one. Mental health issues aren't actually that common. False. False for so many reasons. Because everybody has mental health. Everybody has that status because we are emotional and mental beings. Like we have a brain that functions on those things. And it is connected to like 98% of our life because that's how we process things. That's how we respond to things. And that's just the whole foundation of the decisions we make in life too. So everybody is affected by mental health in one way or another. The second myth it made me think of was you don't need to do anything towards mental health unless there's a serious problem. Like if you go to a therapist, you must have a diagnosed mental disorder. You must have serious mental illness, or you don't need to go see somebody until then. So, not the case. There are a lot of reasons you would choose to seek out that help, all of which are extremely valid and not rare at all. And I'm thinking of like couples counseling, I'm thinking of grief counseling. It's not a cookie cutter type of thing. You can't put in a box and say, this is what it looks like, or this is what it has to look like. And that's because we're all unique and our own person, and it's going to look different for everybody. So, one person that goes through something, whatever it might be, may not feel like that's something they need to seek out that extra help for. Another person may. And then that first person may have something else in their life that is much more something they feel like they need more help with in that way. And that's okay. That's totally valid and normal. And that's why you kind of have to look at it for yourself and decide what you feel like you need. So that was the second myth. The third myth is the therapist is going to fix you, or a psychologist of some kind, or a psychiatrist, or any mental health professional you may go to. Hi. Oh, I saw the alert for tornado watch. Girl, be careful. That scares me. My parents used to live in they were in Oklahoma, not where you are. But Oklahoma is under one right now. And my goodness, my parents used to live there. And my mom talks about stories about being in the tornado alley. And I think I'd freak out. Oh no, Lindsay. Okay, I'm praying for both of you. That just, ever since I saw the movie Twister, tornadoes have always freaked me out. Always. That might sound silly, just people that live where it happens regularly, you guys probably think that's being overdramatic. I don't know. But they've always freaked me out more than like most other natural disasters. Just looks really scary. Be safe. Oh gosh. Okay. Now I'm thinking about that. I will be thinking about and praying for you guys, and please be safe. So, mental health professionals fixing you was my next myth, and that's just not actually the case. And that might sound weird because you go to them for, in some cases, what is called treatment, right? Therapy in a lot of different forms that it's supposed to help you. It's supposed to rehabilitate you. It's supposed to relieve all of that, right? But there's a lot of elements to that that are actually not within the mental health professionals' control. They're not making the choices for you. You're not going to go to them and then say, okay, do these 5 things and then your life will be fixed. Everything will be perfect. You won't have to see me again. You'll be great. No, that's not the way that works. And they cannot make those decisions to take action for you. They cannot push certain things on you, and they're not gonna. It's not about that. It's more than just talking to somebody. Absolutely, it is more than that. But it's not you're totally passive in the process. And they want to help you help yourself in a certain context, if that makes sense. And there's a difference to that. There's a nuance to that, where they aren't fixing you, they're empowering you in a lot of ways, and they're being a resource. So that makes things look different, because they're not going to just prescribe fix it all. They're going to maybe give their perspective on things in an unbiased way so that it can give you a little help in processing. They can give you tools for how to process and resources, and they can be a listening ear when you need it. And all of that is very much the case. And then there's going to be work that you have to do to actually have all of that make a difference. And I don't want that to scare people and say, oh, it's just going to be a bunch of work. You're worth that work. You, as a human being, are worth doing that work. You are worth getting that support. You are worth having that resource. And you are worth, as uncomfortable as certain topics might be that you may need to deal with, you're worth that uncomfortability. And I will preach that forever and forever, because I feel like it's something our society is maybe finally getting to realizing how core to our issues it is. And I feel like people are noticing more the difference. Things like self-care and being able to say how you feel without there being judgment. It's just so important. So yeah, that I feel like is the biggest myth I like debunking, because there's just so much to that. So They are there to talk to and listen as well as give advice. They're a safe place to process things and learn. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. And they're a disconnected party, which I feel like can, like, the skeptics are kind of like, oh, well, I don't need somebody to go to tell me about my life. They have a different perspective on things. There, there is a huge difference in somebody's perspective when you're emotionally attached to something and when you're not. There's a huge perspective shift that happens. And that's why you don't actually ethically work with family or friends. You just can't. You're too connected to what's going on. And yeah. So they're not just somebody telling you about your life or you when they don't know you. It's actually a good thing that they're not emotionally invested, that maybe they don't know every single detail about what happened. And yeah, I hope that made sense. That might have been a tiny bit of a rant. I'm very passionate about that point. I struggle with TS and mental health. I don't like my TS so much. Well, there's definitely an element of having Turner's that you have to mentally process. There's actually probably lots of elements of it that you have to mentally process. The way you see yourself within it, how it affects your view of yourself and your identity, and grief of expectations for life. And I mean that in a lot of different ways, not just infertility, although that's a big one, but also grief for this wasn't what I thought life was going to look like. I didn't think life would entail lots of doctor's appointments or all of these medications or all of these supplements or all of whatever. And it just adds, I feel like, a whole other element of life expectations that you have to process. So I understand. And TS and hormones, hello. Hormones have a huge impact on mental health. Huge impact on mental health. Huge. I have a history of being bad with my HRT. I've been really good this month. You guys would be proud of me. Very good. And I plan to keep being. But I notice a difference when I've been good versus when I haven't. I don't like putting the good and bad label on it, but just to be clear, when I've been consistent and when I haven't, in my moods and my emotions and my ability to be in control of those things. Hormones are so affected by, or hormones have such a huge impact on mental health. So, yeah, I feel like that's why it's a huge thing within Turner's too, because it's all connected to hormones also. So, yeah, it's huge. I have TS. I'm going through a lot right now. Through it all, I'm beginning to see my strengths and value despite TS. I am valuable to God. And yes, going to counseling to help with dealing with issues is helping a ton. Yes. Amen. I know I've talked about it. And I recently thought about it again. Right after we lost my brother, I went to grief counseling. Me and Andrew also, our church, the church that we got married in, mandated premarital counseling before they would do the ceremony there. So we did the premarital counseling. So I've had a couple of scenarios of being in counseling, And there's a huge, I feel like, stereotypical image of counseling that gets thrown out. And if you ever try it, I feel like that gets a little like, oh, that made it seem like a bigger deal than it was. You're not going to walk out of every single session feeling like that person judged you, or like all of you was just splayed open for them to see. They're not going to be like forcing you to tell your deep, dark secrets or over analyzing every little thing that you do. That's not what they're there for. And yeah. There's another myth for you. How counseling seems or how it feels. And I'm so glad it's helping. I have been wondering, do you like having Turners, and how old were you when you found out you had it? Gosh, do I like having Turners? I don't know that I'd say I particularly like or dislike it. I think my perspective on it has shifted since I've gotten older, though. As I've grown up and experienced things with it more, gone through more, I've matured into an adult and gotten greater perspective on things with it. That's definitely shifted. So I feel like time sitting with it and processing through everything that comes with it has a huge impact on that. That being said, there are many things that it makes difficult. That would I rather live without? Of course. I'd rather not have to take Max, hey, Max. I think he hears Andrew. Max, come here. Hey, you guys hear him? He is a mess. I'm sure you can hear him. Okay, where was I? There's a lot that it makes difficult. That, of course, I'd rather live without. I'd rather not take a pill every single day. I'd rather not have to go to see so many doctors. I'd rather not have to do all of the tests like ultrasounds and EKGs and cardiac MRIs and all of that. I'd of course rather that not have to be. At the same time, there's a reality that it's a part of who I am. It's just a part of my story. And coming to a place where that's okay, where I don't judge myself for it, and that perspective shift I've talked about is huge. Do I love it and like am throwing a party that I have it? No, of course not. But I have to kind of get past that to make sure I'm taking care of myself the way I should. And I think that's what's most important. He heard Andrew again. That's what's most important. That's what the bigger deal is. That's what you really want to, excuse me while I'm walking with it. That's what you really want to focus on. When I found out, I was, well, there's kind of two different ways I can answer that. My parents found out I had it when my mom was pregnant with me. I was diagnosed while she was still pregnant with me. There was the fluid and it's called Hydrops, Hygroma and Hydrops. And I had that. That's what the neck surgery was for. And so my parents knew before I was even born. They told me when I was like 9.5, almost 10, between 9 and 10. So I myself have known since then. To be honest, looking back, I kind of always knew there was something different. I just always felt different. Certain parts of me, not necessarily in a bad way, but in a, yeah, that's different than my friends, started being more obvious. And I don't mean the big things, like not starting my cycle at the same time, because I knew way before that was going to be a factor, that was a factor and would be an issue for me, and I probably wouldn't start when they did. So yeah. And yes, some days are easier than others. It fluctuates, especially as you go into dealing with different stages of things. Like at one point we were doing all of this testing and it felt like it impacted me more than right now, because I'm not doing testing of any kind. Yeah. So there's different things like that fluctuate, and that kind of make each day look really different. I hope that helped. I hope that answered that. Do you like it? That's a hard question to answer. I kind of struggled a lot with that. I think the thing that I had the most resentment towards it about was infertility. That was the one that was the hardest for me emotionally to process. And the next thing down from that would have been the pills, and just feeling different in that way, feeling like all of this stuff was my body not doing what it's supposed to. And the mindset that can put you in is really hard, really, really hard. So yeah. Good. Okay. Do you see the printer printing? I'm really excited. And now Alan's going. Yes. Absolutely. Okay. I am going to end the live stream here. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this was interesting and you liked it. I will see you guys tomorrow in another video, and make sure you're subscribed. Things are happening and I'll have updates hopefully soon. So good. It was nice to meet you as well. Okay. I hope you guys have a good evening, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out with me. Bye.